Heavenly management in the second home. Xiefeng. From time immemorial, the yearning and pursuit of a better life has been the driving force behind people's continuous effort and struggle. It is also the inner motivation propelling human society toward higher levels of civilization. People long for a life like that in heaven, because heavenly life is the most beautiful and ideal form of existence. To reach heaven is a dream cherished by all. To live a heavenly life is the common goal of nearly all religious believers and practitioners, and it is also the highest ideal of every ordinary person. Does heaven exist? The answer is, without a doubt. Whether viewed from the theistic perspective of consciousness determines existence, or from the atheistic perspective of existence determines consciousness, both can provide proof. Consciousness determines existence. Whatever consciousness one has, that determines the form of one's life. If one has the consciousness of heaven, then one has heavenly life and can live in heaven. Existence determines consciousness. The second home brings heavenly life scenes down to earth so that people can realize, indeed, heaven truly exists. Of course, the real heaven is not in this material space-time, but in the anti-material space-time. The material dimension is the positive pole, while the anti-material dimension is the negative pole. Human society exists in the positive pole, while heavenly society exists in the negative pole. This is like dreams. When people dream, their consciousness enters the negative pole. The dream world is the anti-material world, belonging to the negative pole. Separated by yin and yang. Once a person awakens from a dream, the dream world can no longer be seen, just as heaven cannot be seen. Do dreams exist? No one denies the existence of dreams. A beautiful dream resembles heaven. A nightmare resembles hell. This is a revelation from the unwritten book of nature. It is the simplest metaphor. There is no heaven on earth. Now, by bringing the imagery of heavenly life onto earth and managing the second home in a heavenly way, we can let everyone believe that heaven does exist and that every person has an infinitely beautiful future. All who long for and pursue the beautiful life of heaven, especially religious believers and practitioners, should understand this simple truth. Just as the message you send from your phone appears unchanged on the receiver's phone, so too does the state of your life at the moment of death determine the destination and life circumstances that follow. To go further, if at the moment of death one's consciousness is entirely that of celestials and Buddhas, then beyond any doubt, after death, one will enter the realm of celestials and Buddhas, that is, heaven. But if at the moment of death one's consciousness is still merely human, then one will inevitably reincarnate into the human world. The same principle applies to all other forms of life. The question now is, how can we attain the consciousness of heavenly life? A person who has never lived in heaven cannot possibly possess the consciousness of heaven. And one who does not have the consciousness of heavenly life will certainly never reach heaven. This is because the gate of heaven is not made of wood, iron, or reinforced steel. It is a gate of frequency. Only those lives whose consciousness vibrates at the frequency of heaven can pass through without obstruction. There are no back doors to heaven. It is governed by an extremely strict program, a scientific program, devoid of emotional favoritism. So then, how can we see heaven while still alive? How can we live a heavenly life while still alive? How can we attain the consciousness of heavenly life while still alive? Out of compassion, the greatest creator has arranged that, as time and space have evolved to this very day, every single person on earth is blessed with a rare fortune. Heaven is descending upon earth. As long as you strive, you can experience heavenly life within your lifetime, thereby attaining the consciousness of heaven and, after death, enter the eternal heaven. For everyone who has received this message, do not be quick to deny it. Do not set rigid boundaries around your thinking so that you miss the scenery of a new vista beyond the dark willows and bright blossoms. Nothing is impossible. The only limits are those your consciousness cannot imagine or your mind cannot reach. This is like faith in the greatest creator. Believing will never bring you harm, while disbelieving may cause you to miss countless blessings. When you find yourself wandering, hesitating, and unable to decide, the best approach is to wait patiently, not to rush into hasty conclusions. Now, let us talk about the paradisiacal management of the second home. Heaven operates under Hundinic management. The highest state of management is no management at all. Therefore, in heaven there is no management. Once management appears, it is no longer heaven. For this reason, in the second home, there can be no such thing as a manager. Each person is simply to radiate their own qualities of truth, kindness, beauty, love, faith, and sincerity, to express their innate Buddha nature, and to keep unnecessary calculations to a minimum. To meet the mental habits of people, the community has directors and subdirectors, but it must be remembered that these roles are only for coordinating production and daily life. They are absolutely not managers of the community. The directors and subdirectors are merely servants of all, who must bear hardships first and enjoy later. They must not harbor even the slightest selfish motive, must not own or possess a single penny of community property, and must live with nothing of their own. They must never impose their will on any member. The positions of director and subdirector are entrusted only to those who contribute the most to the community. Their standing rests on personal character and charisma, not on cleverness or ability. No matter how wise someone may be, without sufficient dedication and pure quality, they cannot hold such a role.